I would like to call the February 17th meeting of the Board of Select Persons of the Town of Belgrade to order, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Dan, you beat it. Yay. Oh, and Doug called me. Well.
Did he send you his dressed up picture?
Oh my goodness, look at her. It's okay. So we have a four of us, and Doug on vacation tuning in. That's me. Oh, that's me. I move that we open the regular meeting. Second. All in favor? Right. And we generally open with public comment, which is a time for people to raise issues that are not on the regular agenda. Is there anyone who has a public comment for tonight's meeting? Okay, seeing none, I'll turn the meeting over to Dan.
Thank you. I'm organized. All right, next is going to be approval of the minutes from February 3rd, 26. You make the motion.
Move to approve.
Anyone have anything?
No, I thought they looked fun to me. No,
Okay. Relax, I'm sure you can see. All right, all those in favor? 4. Absent. Don't vote out, think about it. Next is unfinished business. Village sidewalks.
So the board discussed at the January 20 meeting, that it had come to our attention, folks in the village and people in general had interest in seeing the sidewalks cleared during the winter. And the board asked to inquire of Cummings and Sons, who is our winter maintenance contractor, to see if they may be interested, and also to speak with Butch, who lives in the village, who had equipment and might be to do it as well. So I did speak with. So I did speak with Brooke, and he does not have any equipment to do it. He was not interested. Okay. So I spoke with Corey. Corey spoke with Butch down in the village, and Corey, you're on if you want to pipe in. He does have equipment that could clear the sidewalks for a fee of $3,000 per year. We also explored what equipment might be available for purchase, something other than what Hollowell had recommended. And there is a a little thing like this, about 24,000. What you're looking at without the snow blower is 18,690. That's the base. It's MV Tractor and Equipment Boss Mag SNR 24,400, and then you add the snowblower attachment, and that is 4,500. So there are a couple of options: one to either buy equipment and do it, or to have Butch do it. Corey, did you want to add anything to that?
No, you pretty much covered it.
Okay.
Is this the same equipment, Doug, that you had looked at?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Is that what you have, Doug?
We have a little more of a universal model, but same type of idea. We have a snow blower on ours as well, and it's on tracks. That one, I believe, is on smaller tires.
Yes,
That
it
one's
is.
more that one's more suited for either just sand, salt, and plowing or snow blowing. Ours has a lot more function that we can do with it, like trenching and all that, but it's also a lot more money.
Right, right.
So, and I thought Butch's price was very fair as well.
Absolutely.
And about the fee, is it common to have a flat fee as opposed to a by the storm fee?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you decide you wanna do that flat for $3,000, he also has to have insurance. So, a picture of that, so.
Yeah, and I think someone mentioned that he must because he plows.
Yeah.
He plows
Somebody
yards.
has to have a problem.
Yes, yeah,
Down, just like everybody else.
yes, you're correct, yeah.
I'm not interested in spending $20,000 for a book, so.
Yeah.
What's everyone think?
Okay,
I think we should pursue Butch's offer for 3,000
well, and this would be
starting next year, right?
starting next year. Or are we gonna ask him to clear up this year?
I don't think he could get down through the lakes. Everything's frozen now.
We get a couple more days maybe, but.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
been-
somebody can contact him, see what he would charge, maybe we try that room, see if he can do it. I mean, part of it's been snow blowed,
I
but.
mean, if we got some warmer days, it might be that it'll clear up easier
think-
than when it was 4 below.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
I think for the money, it's a great way to go, especially for either the rest of this year or next year to see how it all goes, see how it's used and everything, and without us investing a bunch of money, and it'll keep it open for people so we can, see how it's received.
Just
I mean,
a heads
maybe-
up, he does not have equipment to sand it. So that is plowing, snow blowing only.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be sanding it anyway. It's just more sand, somebody's gonna have to put it up.
Mhm.
So Doug, are you suggesting that we offer, that we pursue the $3,000 fee for the rest of this year?
That would be my opinion. I think that makes sense to see if he can do it this year and look into it for next year. And it seems like a lot of people have shown an interest in keeping it open. So before we wrap up a bunch of money, I think that's a very fair price. Because if we bought the equipment, we still got to pay the labor and everything to, along the year to do it ourselves. And I think this
Right.
is one thing that, Corey can concentrate on other stuff. It seems like it's a very fair price.
To me, it would make sense to put that in for our budget in June and then for our July budget, which would take a year, right? And get a full season in. And then maybe check and see what it would cost to, if he could clear it for the rest of the season. Because we're sort of through the worst of it, hopefully.
Quite your tongue.
March, we usually get the most snow.
Well,
It would be nice to have the feedback from this year in the
Yeah.
spring to say, we heard taxpayers and what does it look like? I mean, I don't think it hurts to ask him what the rest of the year looks like, but I agree it should go into budget for the year.
if we budget for it for next year and then see what he would do to clear us up, and he may say, it's just too hard, I can't. It isn't gonna work for this year, and we put it in for June or for the July budget, but that we, if possible, it would be great to, sooner we get it open.
I'll try to do the rest of the box.
Yeah. That's.
I'd like to do it on a trial basis for the rest of the year, and see what happens if it's possible.
That's a good idea. See if we like that, see if we
Then we
like
can
it.
budget next year, and
Right.
if we decide it's happen, we budget for it.
Now, would we put that as a separate line item, or would we put that into facilities?
We're probably have facilities for all the other plowing and everything else that's done, it's just.
I think we had discussed maybe splitting it with rec too as part of a exercise program for the winter.
We did talk about it.
Well, to figure out. Exactly, the budget. We'll figure out that. All right,
So when I review what you sent me today, Morna, I'll make a note to
Okay.
add an additional 1,500.
Okay, we're ready for a motion. So I move that we reach out to Bruce Grabowski to see if he would prorate the fee for the remainder of the winter on a trial basis for plowing and clearing the sidewalks in the village.
Second.
all right, all those in favor? We'll try it. Good. How we,
Debriefing, so you all, we did quite a bit of this at the last meeting, can go over, what was, mentioned. We were just looking for ways to, present and put together town meeting to be more effective, with communication. So we had the select board should review, warrants with the moderator before town meetings. Could each department had give a 3-minute presentation about their budget? And we did speak about that at our department head meeting last week. Define all terms contained in the warrant articles, i.e. MRSA, TN, HRA. Even though we're familiar with the acronyms, the public is not. Rescind perpetuity articles allowing unspent funds to remain in department budgets. Can the moderator take several questions before moving questions? The moderator needs a helper to spot raised hands for questions. Compliments on sound quality and video. Breakfast is already organized for the June town meeting. And a more detailed discussion is scheduled for the February 17th meeting, which is tonight. I thought all of those were good, good suggestions.
I guess what I would like to suggest is that we go through the articles and see what questions came up during the meeting so that we make sure that they're addressed, and a lot of them have been addressed with what was brought up at the last meeting. But what I would like to do in addition to reviewing the warrant with the moderator, to assign a select board person to each article. Maybe we could just go 3, 4, 5. We used to, we've done that previously. And it doesn't mean that each of us has to be the expert on the content for that article, but that we need to make sure that we can explain what the article is, and we might be able to flag the things like the MRSA. We see this stuff all the time, but could I explain what that MRSA language was?
Right.
No, I didn't know what that was, but if I were assigned that article, then, I would work with Lorna or whoever to make sure that, I could, or someone, could address that. So I would like to make that general suggestion as well.
Julie.
Hi, I agree certainly with defining MRSA, but I also think that where we're citing a statute and we can quickly explain what the statute is, we should. Not just explain that this cites a statute, but read the statute off if it is in fact short. The other thought that I had was, I think it would be helpful for the moderator. Oh, sorry, it's a timer. It would be helpful for the moderator to give a little bit of an overview of what can and cannot be done at town meeting, so that people who have never been to a town meeting have more of an understanding. because I think there was an effort to try to do things that are not allowed, and then it felt a little bit gotcha to some people, whereas it was just a following the meeting like procedure. So I think that would be helpful. I also thought it might be helpful to have some type of one-page handout or explanation of like the overall financial situation of the town. So that people have some of that information right in their hand. So like reserves, general funds, goals, things like that. Overall, I thought it went really well though. Like it's really lovely to see people participating in democracy. And I left there feeling very excited by the turnout.
Excellent, thank you.
One of the things I would like to see us look at is, and I know we're always rushed on time, and I know we're trying to get things done, but there were some typos and some things that were aligned in the report. And I'm expecting part of that may be because you proof it online, but when you print it. So I know in the tax rolls alphabetically, it was not alphabetical. It was alphabetical for this column and then not for this one, and then this column and not for that one. And had we printed it out or had it been printed out, I think it would be helpful if we have a couple of people that sit down and review the report before it's printed. And I know I understand we're rushed on time, but sometimes it's like, oh, that was just down a little more, or we have room to put a picture in, and when you're looking at it in one long piece, you don't see exactly how it sets up. And I just think we could do a better job of making it, improving it, and we would probably pick up the 2 or 3 typos that, we had the one where we had the wrong number, and we picked up after it was printed that we do an extra set of eyes, whether that means a couple of us have to come in on a Saturday to go through it, but to make sure that there's extra, because I can tell you, I look at something 10 times and it's right. And I pass it to you and you're like, Carol, that word's spelled wrong. Because I know that's what that word is supposed to be. And I think having extra eyes proofing would be helpful in the quality of the product that we put out. So I would offer that as one suggestion of what we do on the piece.
Yes, can you hear me? Okay. I just wanted, Carol, I think that's a wonderful idea. And part of my thought while you were talking was, and I know everyone's busy, but get people who haven't even seen it, who, to read it and so forth, because you guys look at it repeatedly. And so you don't notice things. And I've never noticed any big, problems, but just maybe have a couple of people come in and that haven't seen it. I would come in and help proof something like that for you.
Yeah, the eyes tend to see what it's supposed to see.
Yeah.
It's true.
You can type a word that's totally wrong about, your mind's gonna correct it for you.
It's gonna, right, exactly. The other thing, I know we did it once before, is I would like to see us have dual screens up so that we can have a PowerPoint or have the slides of whatever. Here's the warrant article, and if there is an explanation that we, and I guess Mary'd have to tell us if we can put an explanation up at the same time. But if it's up where people sitting in the audience that aren't trying to go through the book can look at it. Some people are very visually oriented and some of them are not, and it keeps it closer. And it takes a little more work to get that together. But I think it would improve the quality of the meeting if we had screens set up to do that. So that was another one that. And as far as can the moderator take several questions before moving, I think that's Robert's rules. I don't believe I mean, we need to check and see if we can do that.
That's why I put that needs a helper, so say. A person over here hasn't had their hand up, but you got 10 other people who've already had their hands up, and then all of a sudden. And it's not his fault, because he's going back and forth in the room. And, when somebody's speaking, these people put their hands back down for a minute. And then they go put it back up. Well, somebody's speaking here, now we fix that person, they say move the question.
Right.
And they just put their hand up. They haven't had it up for the whole time. That's what I'm saying. If you had the helper spotting saying, oh, no, that person just put their hand up, you got 4 or 5 over here that haven't.
Yeah, but I guess the one question I have, I think we need to make sure we're correct, is if someone moves the question, we have to move the question, that you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
change it.
You can't.
But that we make that known so that people don't think, oh, well, they. So I think just getting that clarification of what it means.
And that would be a good thing to include in the overview that Jillian
Yeah,
mentioned
in the overview.
At the beginning.
about, if someone calls the question, then we have to vote on it, but if the question, if that vote is defeated, then you can continue discussion.
Right.
And he verbally explained that a few times last time, but I think it's just, again, people hearing what they want to hear and then moving on and not letting them say it.
Well, and then the fact that you'd have 1 or 2 people who wanted to count when you knew you, and that's just, we need to have people cooperate with us so that we don't have to go through that expense. I think that was frustration and aggravation that was coming out of the meeting, which just exacerbated, with everybody. So, and I do think we need to make sure that we're clear with the moderator on perpetuity articles, that we don't have the exchange we were having. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Yes, I'm going to. I have the authority. I don't have. I think we need to get that cleared out and.
Right, and if we meet with him as we normally do.
Right.
Then we can say, this is a perpetuity article, and maybe, again, Mary would be able to weigh in on this. Can we say, in the article as per perpetuity article, whatever.
Right.
So that it's clear that that section can't be changed.
can't be altered. I think it's important that people realize that.
But I think a lot of those questions would have been cleared up with the moderator. But again, in fairness to him, he went through the whole informational session, which was exactly what we were voting on. So,
Right.
I just think it would be a good idea to meet with him and be clear about the wording of every article.
Right, and that we're, we should not be withdrawing articles at the meeting, so we just need to do a better job of making sure that. Because I thought I was a little embarrassed by that myself, that that should be done before the meeting. Right. Not at the meeting.
Unfortunately, a lot of that falls on you guys, because this was the first town meeting we've didn't meet with the moderator before the meeting. It's the first town meeting have not done that since I've been involved in the.
Right, I'm just saying, I think that's why it's important that we don't have that, not discord, but disagreement.
Right. Like I said, it all boils down to you five up there to be prepared for the meeting.
Right, and as I said, we don't have to be an expert on every single article. If we, go down and assign 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then it's probably 4 or 5 articles that, we really have to be, expert on. So I think we could probably do that. I think we should be
able to manage that. And I also want to say that, I have heard a lot of feedback. I don't know how about the rest of you. There is some concern that we should put everything on the ballot.
On a secret ballot.
Everything should be on written ballot. That more people will vote on it than if we bring it to the floor in town meeting. And there are a number of people who are concerned about that. And I think we need to be aware of that. I thought perhaps somebody would be here tonight to discuss that, but and there's an argument for that. When we had to do it for COVID, we had 500 people that voted. And we did it the next time, we had less than 100 making the decisions. So something that I think technology's changed, times have changed. You know, we could look to do basically a town meeting type forum the week before, being informational, before people vote on the following Tuesday. If we chose to go to that. So just, I think we need to be aware that there's a concern and there's discussion about it.
So the only disadvantage of that is you cannot decrease any articles.
That's correct.
And then you have no discussion on the articles because we all know information meetings, nobody shows up to. We do them, you guys do them all the time, but nobody shows. The other thing is, that's New England government. If you want to be involved in the voting and how your town's taxes have been spent, you take a half a day once a year, this year's twice a year, but once a year, and you go and vote. If you can't go there and vote or do something like that, then, I mean, they used to do it horse and buggies and used to get there and do it, so there's no.
I understand.
I mean, you got the technology and I'm saying, there's really no excuse for not coming, there isn't. I mean, there's ways to get around it, most of us out here have done them for years and years and years, and we still do them until the end of them, but I guess I'm an old school person, but you look at all the towns around us, I still do town meetings.
I'm bringing it to the forefront because there's a lot of discussion about it.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be aware there's discussion about it.
There is.
And if there are people who feel strongly, then that needs to be brought to the board soon.
Yeah.
Not down the road.
Right, because most of the towns that go that route are city council type of government.
I've been hearing the same thing every day at the center, so we see lots and lots of people. I guess the best thing for me would be to understand what I should tell them they should be doing if that's the route they would like to see that go. Because I've probably heard it at this point from about 90 taxpayers.
Oh, wow.
So
And I wonder what
what
is behind it, why?
they said they feel what I've heard a majority of them say is that they feel pressured to vote one way or another when everybody around them is the hand up. And so they would rather have the privacy of the vote by going to ballot, and they feel that more people would come out and vote and it would be more, I don't know.
You get a larger number of people voting on the budget.
But I have been hearing the same thing. So me, I've just said you should reach out to the town manager, reach out to the select board, but I guess I don't understand enough about the process, how someone would make that happen if that was the route they were to go.
I mean, it's has to be decided on a yearly basis.
Select board has the authority to decide what is on the secret ballot and what is on the floor, so.
So then the second question would be, is it too late for somebody to make that proposal for this next meeting? And if not, then what would be their next step? I guess is what would be helpful for me hearing it often.
It's up to the select board,
Okay.
what goes on the secret ballot.
So someone would need to bring it to the select board. Okay. Alright, that's fair.
I'm kind of like the way Bruce is. I prefer the whole New England style town meeting. Is yes, you may get more people that come out to vote on a secret ballot, but they're typically uninformed. They have no idea what they're voting for one way or the other.
I mean, you take like a public safety, we all know public safety unfortunately is gonna be up. And people are gonna go, wow, geez, that's a 40% increase. Well, we don't have to control that 40% increase. Next thing you know, on the secret ballot, that gets defeated. Now you have no public safety.
I'm bringing it to the floor for discussion.
I'm just saying, it's.
You're not the first, Carol.
Yeah, and I don't feel
Bruce is
strongly
on-
either way.
I mean, Bruce Ford was on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had this discussion many
Yeah,
times.
it's just because there are people talking about it, I think as a board, we need to know that. And if there are people who feel really strongly, then they need to be able to voice that as well.
Oh, yeah, and 100%.
There are pluses and minuses to both of them.
Yeah, there is.
And
So I think we know the answer. They need to run it to the board. Okay.
I have a couple of specific questions. I mean, some of it is just, I guess it would fall under the category of proofreading. You know,
Yeah,
like under public safety, it said the balance lasting into its equipment capital reserve, but we don't really have a fund of that name, so I just, think that we need to. Proof the words to make sure that it's clear. But something like the trust activity from the academic award has been for the highest, achieving student of Belgrade has been $1,000 for a long time. If we wanted to increase that, what would be the mechanism for doing that? We could just do that ourselves.
The budget, it's what's your budget.
Yeah, because what it is, originally was interest earned on those accounts. We added money to it because it was never
Right, anything,
much of anything.
right,
So we would just increase our portion.
Right,
Right.
we may put it as a
Right.
warrant article and increase it to $2,000.
Right.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
I'll be up front and honest, it's been $1,000 since I graduated in 1986.
Uh-oh.
Just give everybody a head up.
in other words, it hasn't kept up with inflation and college costs.
Oh, it used to be worse because it was oh, she wasn't an academic award, it was what do they call
It was a,
it? Scholarship.
scholarship, that's how I got it,
Right.
because I got it for
We used to
scholarship.
do it, it used to be called scholarship. Problem is, when you get a scholarship, you go to college, go to the finance office, any scholarships are subtracted from the money that they help you with.
Right,
Whereas if you do an academic award, it doesn't have to be reported that way.
and so speaking of perpetuity articles, as we were before, if we want to look at some of these perpetuity articles, like for the library and the recreation budgets, we would need as a board to recommend to,
We'd have to write a new article.
we'd have to write, yes, that's what I'm trying to say, we'd have to write a new article, and that would have to be approved earlier in the meeting before those budgets would be approved.
Would it have to be before? Well, I mean, that'd be the best place to have it, it's at the beginning. So something like that, in my eyes, and maybe somebody else can speak, but something like that, maybe should go secret ballot. If it offer that warrant article for, to change perpetuity to a, I don't know, I mean, that'd be a good one for Mary to.
Well, the problem with trying to do that at the same time as a town meeting.
Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry.
The fire department perpetuity normal budget would have to be worded so that it wasn't rolling into it. If they changed it ahead of time,
Right,
so that if it wasn't rolling into it, now you have another warrant article somewhere that says we need to put so much money into reserve.
but we've done that before,
Right.
I remember wording of something, I
there
forget
was
what it
something we
was.
did that.
But, in the event that Article 16 doesn't pass,
Yeah,
then
those are contingency,
17.
those are contingency articles, so there would have to be contingency articles
Yeah.
for all of this stuff.
Yeah,
So,
but if we're going to look at, what happens to the unspent balance, and, there was talk about keeping it fair across the board. The ones that have the perpetuity articles are the library and Parks and Recreation. And the other ones, the, roads and public safety are the ones that automatically go into it. Their language in the article is that it goes into their reserve account.
Right, even though they're not.
Even though it's not a perpetuity article. So, I just wanna make sure that we're treating all departments equally.
So them two, if I understand it right, them two articles could be changed on the floor on them two articles, correct?
On what to,
On public works and public.
They don't even have to be written that way.
right, we could just say, as we do. with
They're
the
written
others.
that way, there's no perpetuity article that
Right,
says.
no, that's what I'm saying,
Right.
but how it's written now, if somebody on the floor wanted to change that on them two articles, it could happen, correct or
I
no?
don't think so.
I don't think
Because
so.
it's changing the article too much.
Right,
We
I
would
don't
have
think
to,
You would have to have an article that we discussed.
we would have to change.
like the wording of the article when we write it, instead of putting unspent. Goes to whatever capital project account, that would be left off that warrant article, so it wouldn't even be there.
Okay.
So yeah, Carol had her hand up.
Somebody had
Ready to
their
go.
hand up.
Sorry, it's Kathy.
Oh, I apologize, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. I answer to either name, always have. I guess the thing, I guess I'm going back to where we were about the paper ballot. The school board is always on a paper ballot, and the school board holds a public meeting where hands go up and vote one way or the other. Then it comes on paper ballot, and it seems to me it wouldn't cost any more to put the town budget on the same ballot now that we're on the same fiscal year as the school. And that way we don't disenfranchise disabled people or elderly people who can't get out to the town meeting. That's just my personal opinion. That's it.
Food for thought. I mean, it's something that has been talked about on and off, on and off over the years. As town meeting traditionally took place in March, when most of the residents were involved in agriculture, and March was a very slow time and not a whole lot else going on. So, you know, there is that tradition.
And the roads are better.
Yeah, the roads are better, people have a lot of things going on, so. I think it's good to keep having the discussion.
Carol, I got Carol this time. I got the right one this time. Go ahead, Carol. We can't hear you.
You're muted.
Hey there.
There you go.
I wrote in the chat. I have been asked to come to discuss this before the select board and make a request that we go to having a secret ballot or having the ballot, having a secret private ballot. And I'll be there at the next meeting, the first meeting in March. That was my plan to be there. There are a couple of other people who are going to join me. So it is an issue. I have been asked to do it, and I'll be present the next time you guys meet. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to go back to the question of the balance, unexpended balance lapsing into, in the case of public safety, equipment capital reserve, in the case of public works, roads capital reserve, that's not according to a perpetuity article. That's just the way it's been. So, you know, I mean, and it makes sense, you know, because on a certain level. But is it better transparency if every unexpended balance goes into the undesignated fund and then the reserve accounts are considered separately?
I think it's much more transparent to let unexpended budget balances fall to undesignated. And then the department heads, the budget committee and the select board go through that process to put those requests in for capital project accounts and their funding. And put that as a separate warrant article. We do have a separate warrant article to fund those. And that way, folks who are voting on that see that. They see what the request is, they see where it's going, and they have the opportunity to say yes or no. Where you have something unexpended at the end of the year, the budget, you don't necessarily know right up front what that is, how much it is going into that capital projects account. I just think it's more my personal opinion. Anthony. Anthony.
Sorry, my camera is not working right now. May I please remind the board that the agenda item before you is debrief on town meeting? It seems like we're a little far afield when we're talking about how surplus funds should lapse into the undesignated fund versus capital reserves. I think that's a worthy conversation to have. I'm just not sure it fits under the agenda item that you have. I think if you're going to do this, you should put an agenda item on one of your upcoming meetings to say that this is exactly what we're going to talk about.
Thank you.
I think we'll get to the end of it anyway. So.
Yeah,
Well, it sort of goes with the question of perpetuity articles.
right.
Right.
It's something I
that
think
was
when we
where
get
that got tied
Putting
in.
budget together, we need to be aware that we need to resolve this.
And the budget committee's probably gonna discuss that next Wednesday a little bit anyways.
But it, it is part of the piece there, but,
Right, and it's something that I think is confusing.
right, absolutely.
Very good. Else?
Okay, let me see. I don't think so.
All right, good with that. So we start actually having a meeting on the budget. Meeting appointments and resignations.
We have two appointments, but I see neither here. I knew that Mac was not going to be able to make it. I did not know Lauren would not be here as well. So you may want to just postpone those. Yep, we want for the next session.
I move that we table the two appointments, Lauren Smith and McGregor Stocco.
Second.
All those in favor? Five. Well, four, and one is. Whatever.
He's there with just,
He's AWOL.
he's I mean,
Sitting in front of a pond.
I know.
Yeah.
Look at him, it's just awful. Oh my gosh. I can see he's smiling.
Yes, he definitely is. He's giggling.
Petitions for special requests.
So we've received the following petitions, special request for funding to be placed on the secret ballot referendum for the June annual town meeting. All petitions have met the minimum requirements for verified signatures. Front office staff has gone through all of them. So this is more of a formality of the board recognizing that they do meet the criteria and pushing those forward. We did have the hospice volunteers of Waterville for 1,500. Seven Lakes Alliance, 60,000 broken down to 12,600 for Seven Lakes. 19,650 for Friends Messalonsky, 24,000 for Belgrade Lakes Association. $3,750 from McGraw Pond Salmon Lake Association. And then a request for 1,138 for Sexual Assault Crisis and Support Center. And 1,641 for Spectrum Generations for Belgrade residents. For a total of $64,279. That's a little less than this year.
So this is all the petitions we have received. Is it too late to receive any others? Not that I'm just asking a question.
I do not know what the time frame is. I assume that it is the end of the time period because all of these were turned in, I believe, at the same time and processed at the same time.
And
Mary would be the one, she's out on vacation this week.
Okay,
She would be the one who would know that right off the top of her head.
and I guess my other question is we always go through, do the representatives from these groups, do we want them to come before the board to talk about it or do we not? And I think we should decide.
Who's got to come forward?
When-
The budget meeting.
The
Yeah,
budget.
when we have the hearing, they usually come.
Okay,
That's
just
what
so
we
that
did
we
last.
notify them
Yeah.
early enough
Yeah.
and we agree on which meeting they're gonna come to.
Yeah,
So would they
came to
be
the
here for
hearing
the
last
28th? Or would they be
No, they would come to the hearing.
the hearing,
Yes.
which will be in March?
That's
Usually just a week before.
Yeah, June,
Yeah, just
end of May or
Okay.
June.
All right.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it's usually, we try to do that before the ballots, because there will be some secret ballots. So we try to do that for those ballots.
Right.
Bringing some people with the information before they start voting. It's typically with the sex spectrum and all of them on the secret ballot. Okay. Those Fire station financing bids.
So we had, a few proposals come in from, banks. And all of that, quite a bit of information.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
So I did an easier one sheet.
Yeah.
I thought that's awesome. Be a lot easier. So we had proposals come in from, Camden, the Main Bond Bank, Quebec Savings, Bar Harbor, and Skowhegan Savings. All of them were no pre-penalty, prepayment penalty, with the exception of the Main Bond Bank. You can't prepay, and Skowhegan Savings Bank put a prepayment on years 1 through 5. So Camden, Kennebec, and Bar Harbor, there is no prepayment penalty. They offered 2 different rates. One rate would be with a full deposit relationship, meaning we would move all of our accounts over to the new institution. And then they gave us a non-deposit relationship. So keeping our banking where we are right now, which may not be with them. The building committee did meet and reviewed these. Their recommendation was to consider the Camden proposal, the non-deposit relationship rate of 5.80%. Your total interest, if you paid the loan in full, would be $1,478,743.20. The thought process with choosing a institution that does not give you a prepayment penalty is that there is a group associated with our fire and rescue who will be doing some significant fundraising and would like to draw down or pay down what we're initially borrowing as a savings for our taxpayers in interest and just in general. And we wouldn't be able to do that with the Main Bond Bank or with Skowhegan. The monthly payment, if the board considered Camden, would be $14,911.41. That first payment, if you chose them, would be June 21, which is before the end of this budget cycle. So the board would have to determine where that would come from. That might be able to come from the fire building reserve, and then budget for the rest of those payments for the June budget. Did you want to say anything, Bruce?
Yeah, so we had talked about possibly taking that first payment out of the building capital reserve. The biggest thing is reason we're picking Camden is you know, Warner explained it, is, you know, we're planning on doing some serious fundraising. So we'd like to be able to pay down. The other thing, we had a meeting with the FDA this week, last week, I mean. USDA, thank you. And in that, we was trying to figure out, we had no clue how, we thought it was gonna be a 75-25 on the draws. It's not. We have to pay our 25% upfront, and then the feds start taking payments after that. So we pay upfront and then they pay after. So that's why we kind of got to get this kind of secure about.
So as bills come in, it's the 2.1 million that we've borrowed that gets paid out first, and then after that USDA pays out of the 4.7 CDS grant.
A good question for you.
Yep, and Mel has her.
Why is the payment, say, up here, say 14,911.41. How come that same type of payment isn't down here like in the Bar Harbor Bank and Trust? I don't.
It is the 14,911, that's a monthly payment.
For them. Okay,
Yeah,
not
so
for that
here-
Bar Harbor Bank and Trust.
Yep. 257, 250 is the payment.
So why is 114,001, 257,000?
That's a monthly payment, this is an annual.
Some
payment.
banks didn't offer monthly. Camden ordered monthly.
That-
We pay
that-
monthly,
that's
you
on-
pay less interest.
Well, and that's what's confusing me, because if you look at the interest paid at Camden National, 1,147,800. Go down here, you're talking 100 and. At Bar Harbor Bank and Trust, it's 1,301, so you got $178,000 less. But it's showing a higher interest rate of 10 point. That's 5.8.
Well, yeah, if you make an annual payment of 228,900, you're actually making a higher payment.
So we're gonna pay less interest on.
Yes, you are correct.
by
If you make
by
that, yeah, if you make the annual payment,
$178,000.
yes, you are.
So. That's looks confusing me. That's why we're recommending going with something that we're gonna pay $178,000.
But I don't have the full sheet in front of me, but the sheet we was looking at, something's up with that.
You want this one to look at?
Take a look at it. So it makes sense to me that we're opting to pay extra interest.
You're looking at, is it Bar Harbor that you were looking at, let me
Yeah.
pull that.
I got the total payment for Camden, for the annual payment is 178,936.
Right. The annual,
So we're paying payments less, which in turn is gonna cause higher interest. Even though the interest rate is less.
well, see, what we went by is we went by what they gave us for an interest rate, so Bar Harbor is 5.9% for no
Right.
tax. And Camden is 5.8%.
Right.
So that's what we based it on, is a 5.8%.
If you're looking at the total interest paid, we're actually paying more. With Camden than we are with Bar Harbor.
Because you're paying another $50,000.
We're paying.
Every
we're paying
year.
more- We're paying more upfront.
We're paying more as every year is.
Every year, so your yearly payment is that much more.
Right. We're paying more, but we're paying less in interest.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not an expert in any of that.
right.
I have two
I
questions.
mean, the piece that I think is attractive, for a better word, is we've been putting a couple $100,000 away for the last couple of years for the station. So if we use Camden, we'd be putting away less money, a little less tax burden than what we've been putting on in the prior years. I mean, the last couple of years, we were budgeting 200,000 to come out. This year, we'd be budgeting 179,000. So if, as that works into our taxes, the other way, we're really going up 30,000 in round numbers. It's just a question
But
of,
you're also paying $78,000 more in interest.
yes,
I honestly don't know which way is the better way.
yeah,
I mean, theoretically, hopefully, we'll be paying down a lot of this before we even have the interest.
we hope. That's our plan.
That's our plan.
Let's
That's
go
cool.
let's go to the hands.
I think Melanie
Yeah,
was on
Melanie,
yours
and
first.
then Kathy.
Melanie's hand was up before mine.
Yeah, Melanie.
Hi. So I just want to make sure that I've got the story. Did we not submit an application to the bond bank before February 4th, which was the deadline?
Yes, we did.
We did submit one.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't understand not wanting to go with the bond bank if simply because we're going to fundraise and we want to pay it down quicker. And if there's a prepayment penalty with the bond bank, does it exceed the amount of interest that we would be paying on a traditional loan?
You can't prepay.
You can't prepay, you only pay a yearly payment.
You're stuck with,
Okay.
with the amount you borrow and you have to pay the full interest.
So then my thought is, is the town allowed to take fundraising monies and put them into an interest-bearing account and use the interest, much like we do with the town's interest, to offset additional costs? So a prepayment penalty wouldn't come into effect. We take the fundraising money and we put it into a high yield interest-bearing account. And I mean, I've got one. I don't have to, my money earns 4% if I take it out tomorrow or 30 days from now versus take it out 5 years from now. Can we put it in a CD and then use that to offset a payment down the road with additional monies or interest that has accrued on that? I would hate to throw something out that seems to be reasonable. And I want to make sure that all the options are on the table. And if that's something that we could do, then why would we not pursue that and go with what we could potentially have a lower interest rate and lower payments over time?
Thank you. Kathy?
Okay, I was on the school board when they passed the $11 million budget to make repairs, including adding a track. And there was a lot of talk from the people that were advocating for I think the track was $1 million. We were advocating for that bonding to put the track in, that there was going to be all this fundraising and that they would be able to, raise a significant amount of money. And they raised zero. It's really hard to raise money for something that the taxpayers have already approved and are paying for. That's just my experience with what happened at the school board. So I don't know that you should be counting on huge amounts of money. I could certainly be wrong about.
Thank you, Kathy. I think Bruce and then Anthony.
So some of the donors that could be possibly given, there's no guarantee. I don't want to say this. More than likely, you won't get some of the bigger donors if it's going to go into a trust fund to pay the payment. If we're, like smaller donors, yes, you can do that with smaller donors, but the bigger donors that are going to give a significant amount of money that we would need to, show difference on the pay down. Unfortunately, if we do it that route, I'm afraid they wouldn't do the donations. But that's just my fear of it.
I think what the building committee spoke about when we met was the fact that the fundraising, it would pay off the loan quicker and get rid of some of that interest, so you're saving residents that money. That was the goal of fundraising and doing as much as the group could. I know that's what I heard what the discussion was. Anthony.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anthony, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So in order to even out what you're proposing to do here, you'd have to raise $403,629. That's an awful lot of fundraising. That's the difference in the interest between what you'd pay the bond bank over the 20-year note versus what you would pay Skowhegan Savings, $403,000. And so it seems to me that that's a pretty tall, to Carol's point, that's a pretty tall task to raise that amount of money. And additionally, if you accept the bond bank's offer, and this is, I think, vitally important, you lower the annual payment that taxpayers are going to be paying. So it reduces the tax burden on taxpayers. To Melanie's point, I would put a little twist on that. Let's say you're able to raise $100,000. We'll just use that to make that year's payment instead, or spread that out over a number of years in order, again, to reduce the tax burden on people. I just think if you do the simple math of looking at what the interest cost is between Camden and the bond bank, there's no comparison. It's almost impossible for me to believe that you're going to raise $403,000 in fundraising, which is the delta between those two offers.
Thank you.
Bruce?
So we have until May 31st, is it?
Yeah, some of these, give us 30 days to make a decision, but most, I think all of them, are May 21 to finalize, close
Right.
and draw funds.
So we have time for the fundraising committee to get back to us. They can make contact to some of the big donors that have mentioned.
I would do that as soon as.
Yeah, so we'll, we've already threw it back to them, but I think now we need to push a little harder so we can get maybe some rough figures
And our,
before the April meeting.
Who do we use for an accounting firm?
audit.
Would they be
Budget.
able to look these numbers and go, which one would be most beneficial if we took it? I've got to pay them a little bit of money and have to look at these numbers.
Yeah,
Say,
Jen could do.
if this happens, this would be the best option. Because accounting isn't my. I mean, I can do basic stuff, but.
Like I said, we went by the end.
Right, and just the fact that. Same, it's the same thing just between the two banks, you're paying a lot more interest by going Camden. Well, you're definitely paying a lot more interest if you don't do being bond bank. So it's just a matter of which one would serve us better. And if they can take into the fact the account would be fundraising too.
I can ask Jen. And the bond bank, we did not sign the paperwork, so our offer is good for 12 months.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we have until the
We have time,
21st, and then
right.
we have
have a
some
little
time,
time.
we have some time to play
So
because
let's verify it,
right,
so that we aren't,
because it's looking at earliest groundbreaking would be, if I understood it right, when we had the meeting with the feds was gonna be, the earliest it would be probably July-ish.
And what about, our attorneys, because they have finance people there who deal with bonds. Right.
I'm just afraid that the cost is more money with the attorneys than it would be just.
Yeah, the auditor.
Yeah, well, we have to do bond counsel either way,
Right,
so they're gonna get their money, get their.
right.
You got two hands up?
Oh, Kathy and Anthony, Kathy first.
Okay, so the only thing I'll say, so I was a commercial lender. And the only thing I can say is if banks could compete on a rate basis with the bond bank, there would be no bond bank. You just can't do it.
Thank you, Kathy. Anthony.
Well, first of all, excellent point by Kathy. And secondly, you guys have two phenomenal bankers in Matthew Colpitts and Jason Simcock. I noticed that Northeast did not bid on this, so maybe they could be an objective assessor for you.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Next,
Yeah, and I met him over in Buckfield.
I'd feel more comfortable if I have somebody who really knows numbers,
Yeah,
say which one's gonna be more beneficial.
Northeast may be a good one.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Rescue funds.
Okay, so Dan and Trav worked on some information. You must have do you have a truck committee that got together for this? So they all got together and put together information for replacement for the rescue truck and sent that over to me to put together a draft RFP. So I worked on that, got that back over to Dan and Trav to take a look at, and they both have reviewed it, and said it looked good to them. They will ready to have it come to you, and get it okay for us to put this out.
The RFP looked fine for me. I just had a question about how we pay for this. Does this come out of
Capital reserve,
Capital
capital
reserve,
reserve?
yes.
Of what?
truck capital reserve,
Fire department truck? Okay,
truck and equipment,
okay.
So we have money for
yes,
Do we know how long?
3 years.
Well, I guess it's about 3 years.
it. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Be through it. Most of the companies we've talked to, is that they're about, it's about a 3, from the time we make the order, it's about 3 years.
Oh, 3-year wait to make a truck.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And what's the ballpark price, Tim? We have any?
around 400.
Right now we have 786 in the capital projects account.
Fire truck, the new fire truck is looking like between 600 and 800.
And this is, with a deadline and the board to review and consider and award, if we choose to do so, April 7th, that meeting. So this would go out and we've got, more than 30 days, but I know the committee wanted to get together and review things.
Now we gotta
prior
review it before
to-
it comes back to you guys.
Yeah.
Glad to see
Do you need a
it,
motion?
yeah. Glad to see it going on as a gas, rather than diesel. What's
Yeah.
issues with diesel,
No, small truck.
they just, when it does, so they're idle, like. What, yeah, go ahead.
I move that we approve the RFP for the rescue truck.
Anthony's got his hand up.
Yeah, Anthony, did you have a question?
Just so you folks go into this with eyes wide open, the town that I work for recently purchased a ambulance. We got a screaming good deal on it and paid $360,000 for it. So, you know, if you do that, you're going to deplete your capital. And I'm not saying this is a reason not to do it, but it's just so everyone is aware, you're going to deplete your capital reserve to about $250,000. And at some point, I assume you have a fire truck purchase looming at some future point. So just so everyone is aware, it's ambulances are far more expensive now than the last time that you bought a rescue truck.
We know that. We've priced it out, and the fire truck is knocking on the door.
Real second.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor? Five. Okay, go.
4-1.
Four. Again, I can see Rich smiling.
If he smiles, we can see his teeth. Yeah.
He's holding up a drink.
I don't think he's doing that. Not where we can see anyway.
So it's IT for RFP for IT services.
Yeah, say that by
Do that.
that's right.
Backwards.
Okay, so after working through our budget process, I checked with our IT provider. On any increases that they were looking at, so what they brought back to me was looking back over the past 12 months, the town has averaged 8 hours a month for help desk support. The current contract plan includes 6 hours, which resulted in an overage totaling $3,120 for the year. Project work during this same period came in at $29.08. The current monthly cost, including the 3% increase applied in March, is $19.92. Based on that amount, plus project work and estimated support overages, the total annual cost comes to $29,933. It may be time to see if we can obtain similar services at a lower cost to the town. We have put together a draft RFP for the board's review and consideration.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the difference between project work? I mean, I'm assuming that it's over and above whatever the monthly support is. What would be an example of project work?
So project work, it would be, I know
They
they've
came to the center.
right, like they come on site, they actually have to come and do something. I know they've been out, working with fire, they've been to Kristen, working on the laptop and that sort of thing. they've done site visits here, installing new PCs, new server, that sort of thing, project work.
And so all of that is over and above.
Right, support work is like us, getting in touch with them, saying, I need you to remote in, can you help me with this? Or I have a question, I don't know how to do this, or something's not working properly, something like that.
That's like help desk, right?
Yeah.
That's what's covered under that.
Yeah. So 30,000 a year is significant.
That's significant.
And I don't know that someone else is less expensive and that they're better, but 30,000 is a lot.
It's worth it looking into, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
We have
I have no problem
questions.
with all.
Yeah, questions.
All right, we'll start with
Yep.
Bruce.
So my biggest thing is I'm gonna walk back something I asked about therapy several months ago. I think the attorney should just go out therapy, if nothing else, just to keep them in I ain't saying honest, but keep their pencil sharp. Lots of time, that they may be the only bidder, but that keeps people's pencil sharp. And that's what you're asking for the IT is to keep their pencil sharp. They're over the 15,000 threshold. Same as our attorney, there was discussion that, well, geez, let's raise our, on this, financial policy to raise that threshold. Well, I don't believe it's raising that threshold. I think it still should be 15,000. And I feel that the attorney should go up to bid. Just my 2 cents.
Anthony?
So first I'll speak to my my good friend Bruce's comments there is if you do that, I would just encourage you since Bernstein sure gives you a fixed fee contract, you should be looking for other law firms that would also give you a fixed fee price. As far as IT, I have a question. Is the town satisfied with the IT services it currently has?
No.
Oh, well, that's interesting. So I just say be careful because as with law firms or any other sort of professional service, you could be penny wise and pound foolish. And I'm speaking from a little bit of experience.
Okay. Thank you for that wisdom.
Did we put out an RFP initially? Looking for IT services?
Yes, I believe this is the one we put out, Mary found it, I wanna say 2020, 2021. Maybe it was longer than that, it was the only one we could find.
So are we at the end of a contract with our current?
It's annual now.
Oh, it's
yeah,
annual now, okay. All right. But we're asking to go to a 3-year,
Yes,
okay. And when is that contract up?
usually January.
So we're just now using whatever we had before?
Right.
We're gonna do it, we better get it up there.
Agreed.
Yeah, if you want it out there, if you want it out there now, so we still in the budget.
Yes. Okay, I move we approve the RFP for IT support services.
Second.
All those in favor? 4-4. That's me.
Hiding.
I would like to see it back. For once we avoid, so take a look at a draft RFP.
We took these and I gave you one.
Yeah. I'd like to see what, and I want the next thing that will happen.
Yeah, we have a number,
Yeah.
I brought it.
Good, I think I want to look at it.
Okay, do you want me to email it over to you?
Yeah, that's fine, but I think it's just something that's talk about, you know.
Yeah.
So, if we're gonna do it, I think we might need to put playing money.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Melanie's got her hand up.
Mel?
Hi. So a couple of years ago, we worked to move all of the contracts to the same time frame for the town. So if the town missed the IT contract having expired. Is it possible that somebody can take a look at every other contract and make sure that we're not missing something else? Because at this point, if their contract is already expired, do they have to abide by that contract, or could we be paying them a consulting fee essentially, or subcontract or a contractor's fee? Because they're not bound to that contract. So I want to make sure that we look at any other contracts that would have also expired on December 31st and make sure we're not missing anything. But we also are probably going to want to reach out to the current person and see what exactly we're operating on.
I missed that part. Could you repeat that?
The second part where we might want to reach out to our current IT contractor, and if their contract is expired, if we don't have an agreement in writing that says that they're abiding by last year's pricing, you may want to find out if their contract is already expired, what the town is obligated to be paying.
Has it expired or are we just going on an annual?
We're going on
renewal?
an annual renewal.
It's an annual renewal.
And
Okay,
we've,
so
Mary
we're
has gone
adding.
through-
Okay, so let me just make sure I understand it. We're adding, so their contract is not expired. So what we're looking to do is to add an annual renewal to the end of their 1-year contract. Is that what I'm hearing? Or is their was their contract date ended December 31st? They came in with the new pricing and now it's higher than we were anticipating.
I'll have to check it now and see exactly what it says.
Okay, because if it says that our contract ended on December 31st, which I think in the last couple of years, the town attempted to make all of the contracts go to the same January 1st to December 31st. So if that is the case, we do need to figure out what we're paying, but we also need to make sure that there aren't any other contracts that we're going to be surprised by.
Agreed. Good point.
Report dedication.
Mary provided a list of the past dedications for you, and I also tucked in because Carol had asked for it. I don't see that I put it in mine. I tucked in the deceased list for
Right.
last year.
Yes,
Yeah. So I know you're not under obligation or you don't have to make a decision tonight, but we wanted to get this to you so that maybe within the next meeting or two, you'll be able to make a decision and we can get that incorporated into the report.
Sure.
Is there any other information you want other than this? To help you?
Well, as far as the dedication stuff, I mean, all this sort of thing, the other things that come out for the town meeting. Do we also had, we're looking for somebody for Boston Post King, that
Yes.
that should be part of the,
Yeah.
report and stuff.
We do have a search out. I know Mary put something out. Nominations are due by March 2.
Bruce.
I guess one of the nomination, I'd like to put in for somebody for a nomination. As you all know, we lost a firefighter a week ago. He's also, he's been with us for a few years. The last 2 years, he's been one of the top 5 responders. He's very dedicated, did a lot of PR events. I'd really like to see him, it'd be dedication to him. It'd mean a lot to his family. It means a lot to, mean a lot to us on the department. Just throwing that out there.
Thanks, Bruce.
You're welcome.
Alright, Go over with. We'll try to go with some for the next meeting or.
I think we should, I have
So do we need to?
So do we need 2 or 3
do we need
people?
to extend the date for this, to look at other people who have?
Usually you go right up to almost to the print date in most other annual reports.
Those are by the year.
These are,
I thought we did dedications, at least the internal, inside ones from that prior year.
Right, that's what's usually in the town
Yeah.
report.
Right.
Like changing your fiscal year. Well, I don't know, you're gonna have to think about that, you're changing your fiscal year.
Right. We'll be missing 6 months worth of, or
Right.
it could be dedications if we don't look
I
at
think you're gonna have to extend it.
information from January
To
to
June.
almost June.
Yeah, or as close
As close as we
can.
can.
You're gonna hand up Sharon it off.
Oh, Sharon,
I think leaving out those 6 months might drop off some people you want to include, like Verna Hammond.
Right.
So somehow you've got to include that.
like
And I
Mary,
think,
we all have her, keep watch and put together.
Yeah.
As we get them to give you a better list.
Okay.
Yeah, it will stand that, but, yeah. Thank you for bringing up.
Facility maintenance. Skid steers.
Corey, are you still on? We're starting with skid steer. Do you wanna, talk about that?
Well, we had originally talked about it because we developed a crank seal leak in the skid steer and we were waiting on Belgrade Mechanical to give us a price, which was gonna include pulling the motor, but he thinks he can do without pulling the motor, so it's kind of a mute point unless you guys are sick and tired of spending money on the skid steer and maybe we have to have a different conversation. So we got a $1,600 bill for repairing the seal, but then we also got a $2,400 or $2,500 investment on a new bucket because the bucket just doesn't even stay on anymore. It's so worn out and rusted, so it's unsafe. So I guess we brought it before you guys just for direction.
Do we wanna keep putting money in repairing or do we wanna replace it, right?
Correct, because I do believe I spent $9,000 on it last year or the year before.
Yeah.
We've been spending
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
money on skid steer.
Seems like it's been.
Yeah, I think it has over 5,000 hours on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a 2007 and it has 5,000 hours on it.
And because I'm not a skid steer expert, what's a life expectancy of a skid steer?
20 years, it's there.
It's best.
About how many hours or?
It's past it, I think they both said. Melanie,
Do we have any money in the capital reserve for equipment replacement?
the facilities capital project account has 185,000.
Okay, so if it's seen its life expectancy, my suggestion would be, as a citizen, to looking to see what replacement cost would be versus continuing to put money into something that may be on its last leg, but we've kept it going for a good long time. And sometimes we all know the difference in the technology between an 07 and a 26 is going to be night and day, and the 07 is probably going to last longer. So look at the difference in the cost if it's something that can be swung, and if it isn't, and then we milk this one along and we set up a capital reserve specifically for replacing this types of equipment.
We do have enough to, I mean, you've got couple of used prices, one at 52.5, one at 69.1. And then you have three, it looks like three new.
One new is less than the used.
Yeah, I know, that MB tractor
Right.
is 61.9.
Does,
Corey, what's the difference with that one, do you know?
They're all basically the same equipment. The Bobcat has a little bit more safety equipment on it, built-in backup camera.
So the
Um,
MB is a Kubota.
yes, the MB is a Kubota, and everything else is
61.9.
yeah, Bobcat. There is one used Kubota in there, I do believe.
Yeah, 20,
Um,
just for you, hang on. 2023 used, is that Kubota as well, Corey, at MB?
Yes, anything from MB is gonna be Kubota. Anything
Okay.
from,
Jordan,
anything from Jordan is gonna be Bobcat.
Probably the Bobcats are Bobcats.
which is better, Bobcat or Kubota?
It depends which one has a municipal. Deal for municipalities.
Do
I
we,
guess that's the question. When we're
we have a
looking at
skid
that-
steer at the transfer station, correct? What,
We have a Bobcat at
Bobcat or Kubota?
Bobcat.
No, we have a Kubota,
At the transfer station?
yeah.
It's a Kubota?
Yeah, the Bobcat is what Corey has now.
Oh. For some reason, I thought Kenny had a Bobcat.
No, because the reason we didn't go Bobcat, because when we finally had enough money raised to do it. The municipal buy with Bobcat was gone, Boulder had a municipal buy,
Gotcha.
and it's huge, it's, it's usually $10,000-12,000.
So I guess my
Lorna.
question, is there any advantage to keeping
I
with
heard
the
somebody
same
to me.
Yeah,
Oh.
brand of
Uh,
skid steer?
I think we got some Bobcat implements for the Kubota at the transfer station, like the pusher for snow. That's probably what you were thinking of.
Yes, I really did think he had Bobcat. His new plow, isn't that a Bobcat?
yeah, the Bobcat
Correct.
pusher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, most of the skid steer attachments are universal,
Right.
so. I've got a skid steer style bucket for my Yanmar tractor. It's just, it's kind of universal parts.
I just, when you give that total of that reserve account or that, is that counting the 75,000 that was reallocated to address immediate needs at the center, or that's sub-accounted? Because that was for when we. went
There's
to
no
architect-
money expended from that warrant article. It only gives authority for the select board to do an architect for
Right.
Center for All Seasons, and it says that the money can come 75,000 from recreation and 75,000 from the facilities.
Right,
Correct.
so that would come out of the 185.
That would
That's
come
it,
out,
so-
but it's
Okay.
not allocated.
Right,
Right.
The way the warrant article rests worded.
Right.
It hasn't been spent.
Correct.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be, if
Right.
the board chooses not to.
And question I got, how is that, capital reserve worded? Is that for facility maintenance of the buildings, or I know that has a lot, the wording of the capital reserve has a lot to what you can spend it for. So I guess that's one of my questions on that also.
I just happen to have
Oh, good.
them right here. Barbara has it.
I'm pretty sure the wording covers equipment also because Mary sort of like instigated this conversation because she agrees with Melanie that we're kind of like,
We shouldn't keep putting money after bad, right?
exactly.
Question, the 2023, the pre-owned one. How many hours on that are 300? And what was it used for?
Well, that's the
11
problem. These are all used for winter snow removal,
Right.
so they sit in parking lots all winter long, and then they go back to the dealerships and they sit there until they get rented back out again in the winter for snow removal.
So that may not be good because they sit, right?
Yes, they sit.
It's it, but I don't know if that really bothers me all that much for the Because one of them, you know, only got 162 hours,
The 2023 has 300
300
hours.
hours.
And the
That's
Jordan has 162 hours.
Yeah. And that one that's 162 hours, we know that for sure, that's a Bobcat.
Jordan,
Yeah, if it's a Jordan's, it's a Bobcat. I had pictures of them, but the pictures that I had were not the exact models.
I mean, I'd kind of like to see what these two pre-owned ones actually kind of look like, what kind of shape they're in. So I don't know if it's something you might want to go take a look at.
have you looked at them, Corey?
No, they're out of state.
So MB Tractor Equipment Fairfield, it's quoting something that isn't even in the state.
I don't know if there's anything in the state because their main office is in New Hampshire, so most of their equipment that like that is rented south of them.
Still think it might be worth taking a day and taking a trip.
Say
I
for the money.
don't disagree with you.
Brand new is nice, but if you can get something that's like had very low aisles on it.
Yeah.
It may be worth it. You know, it's not like we're using them for heavy equipment. Use all the time. You know, if they're using the transfer station, yeah, I mean. You're doing what you're gonna do over there, but it's not like a contractor grabbing one of these things and just digging and beating it to death.
I mean, that's why that Bobcat's lasted so many years.
Right.
That's how it's been used. Melanie's got her hand up.
Oh,
Yeah.
So with the used equipment, if we were to go with used, do they offer an extended warranty like we did on the half-ton truck?
it
Be-
looks like on the Bobcat, it says protection plus 36 months, 3,000 hours. And the fee for that, it looks like Mel is $11,700. I'm thinking that's what you're thinking of. And the 2023 is just a 1-year engine and powertrain warranty.
Okay, and so because I don't buy this kind of equipment, so I'm not as familiar. What is the
Right.
warranty on the new one that's 61,000?
I think it's two year warranty, 2,000 hours that comes with it. Or you can get a 4-year warranty and 4,000 hours for an additional $2,400.
Which might be worth.
Okay, so just doing the quick math in my head, if the extended warranty on a used equipment with hours on it is $11,700.
That's a
But
lot.
purchasing a new piece of equipment with a 2-year factory warranty plus $2,400 to extend it out to 4 years. Seems to me over the long haul to be a better bet, because if the town is going to purchase a used piece of equipment, you're going to want to have an extended warranty on it, because if you buy a 23, the warranty is already gone. So I would want to look at both pieces of that before you made a decision. Oh, saving the money up front is sometimes more attractive, but if it's going to cost us more in the long run, we may want to consider doing the other option.
Right. So the one I gave you, the 4-year, 4,000, that is a Kubota. For 61,900. Which is not bad. Some of these others are what, 80, 90.
And just to check on the town facilities reserve account, it can be used for maintenance on all town-owned buildings and properties.
Maintenance on.
Maintenance, that's what it's worded,
Town
maintenance.
facilities, because we have to have the buildings and grounds capital reserve which was dissolved and is now Town Facilities Capital Reserve.
So it kind of encompassed everything.
So does that mean you can use it for equipment or not? I guess I just,
That's what I would think, so if you're buying something for maintenance on a property or a building.
I don't know, something you may wanna ask MMA if you guys spend it, just to be safe, but. Scott's got his hand up.
Oh, hey Scott. Hey Scott.
Oh, hello. That account was set up for catastrophic failures in buildings. It wasn't set up for equipment. All equipment was to be budgeted either through its own capital reserve or by a yearly vote. But that account was set up when the Belton properties first started, and a lot of that money was raised and put in there from the rental revenue was put in that for all the buildings. So that's how that all started. So I don't think it was originally set up for a piece of equipment, because I just won, I think, $70,000 for a skid steer that basically loads sand in the back of the truck in the winter. And we also have another skid steer that they could use that's at the transfer station. So got the trailer to haul it, the truck to haul it. I think it's a lot of money coming out of that reserve. That is all.
Thank you, Scott. Did you find that?
We have a separate Dalton
So that,
fund, which was from rent, which is $10,312.
yeah.
And that's a special revenue account, not a capital reserve.
So it might be something different.
But, there's not a lot of.
That's all the history that Mary kept.
Right, yeah, so there might be more information with more language.
We certainly can push this can down the road a little bit. Not a lot, because we are losing a lot of oil in that machine, but we can get a few more answers for you guys if that's something you're looking for. And we also have an option through Bobcat or through federal government, Stonewell, I think, or Stockwell financing, which gives you an even better deal on financing new equipment.
The skid steer you have up here versus down there, what do you use that for going up here?
The one up here, we use it for, like Scott said, loading sand, but we also use it in the cemetery some for moving sand around with the when we do burials. Not a lot because it tears things up. Hence the quote in there for a articulating loader, which would give it much more versatility throughout the whole town, not just for one trick horse pony or whatever that saying is.
Trick horse, write that down.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was a piece of equipment that would be less expensive and flip flop them. Put the skid steer, the dual one over there and something else that could be used up here.
That I don't know.
Okay, I want more information before
I think you need to have MMA give you a wording on that capital
I
reserve.
find out where start with it.
See what we.
Okay. Get some more information and clarification on that reserve account.
Melanie's got her hand up.
Just one more quick thing. As Dan knows, sometimes when you have a loan with a particular institution, they're going to offer an extended warranty on a piece of equipment that you purchase as well. We're probably a little more limited with who does equipment loans, but the quote that you got from the dealer is not always going to be the least amount of quote. So if we're going to look at all the options, we should probably also see what types of lenders we could potentially finance something with if we were not to pay up front. And if you financed a small amount and do an extended warranty, look at that option as well, because they may offer a warranty that's different than what the dealership or dealer is going to offer. So just so we have all the options on the table.
Thank you.
Plus that has to go to RFP too. So it really should be spec'd and sent out to RFP. It's how we do the transfer station.
The other thing we could check too is see if the state has the programs. Just like they do on plow trucks or pickup trucks or anything else, that sometimes you get it on a bidding pool.
Yeah.
Or something, anything with DOT and stuff, and they're buying equipment or whatever, that might be an option to purchase something that way. Okay. Move on. Here's what happened. Other business. Actually, I do have another business question.
Okay.
I tried to call you the other day. I started to call you the other day and I had a customer come in, so I got sidetracked. It was mentioned to me that something with the electronics here are recording when they're not recording for the Zoom.
They had the Zoom running,
Okay,
but didn't video it, just the audio.
We had the video, so transfer station and she can, Warren can explain what it did. I'm all confused what it did. But it doesn't transcript or everything that was said in that meeting. So the meeting hour was on but not recording because we have one person that has to do it by Zoom because of his health. And so we do a meeting that, with him on Zoom.
but you don't set it up to record.
Correct.
But they
But
had,
still somehow
they had it
recorded.
going. They didn't have the video recording, but they had the audio. So it gave a transcript.
Okay,
Which it said recording off.
It couldn't have been.
Yeah, that's what it said.
we just need to make sure that this thing isn't set up, these new hours and set up differently so that it's recording executive sessions without us knowing
I haven't, when we do executive session, I shut off video and audio.
Okay.
So.
I just didn't know.
So maybe when the video's on with this new owl, because this is the first time we had
If you
the new owl.
You didn't have the video going, because we didn't get the video to post, but we had audio, so it gave the.
I just wanna make sure this thing automatically
But
records.
we had the video on.
You have to set both of those off. The audio and the video.
You may want to talk to Kenny then, because he's the one that
Okay.
does that.
Okay.
Okay, let's just make sure that it's actually.
I'll get a lesson.
shut
Is
down.
that, I've never had that before.
And we've never used it. This is the
Yeah,
first time
I've
we
had
used
that
this one,
before,
so.
just that one time.
Okay, all right. So on to warrants. Warrant 17. $25.73.
Approved. Second.
The warrant. State of it. Any questions from anybody? No? All those in favor? 4-4. Abstain.
Thank you. Have a good night. 5%.
All right, next one is warrant number 18, payroll warrant, that's $23,323.62.
Move to approve. Second.
All those in favor of that one? 4-4. Warrant number 19. Maybe another AP warrant. That's the one $732,856.88.
Move to approve. Second.
Can't see that one again real quick. Over here.
Let's have a school payment in
there. I have a question under Elon Financial Services annual foot test calibration.
That's for the fire department. Yeah,
What are we calibrating?
it's the fit test.
Fit test for a
Mask.
for SBA mask.
Okay.
They have to be tested.
Okay. I just didn't know. Yeah. What we were fitting.
I got one question also. I'm sure it's a quick easy one.
Go ahead, Bruce.
On the attorney fees. Jones permit, that comes out of the planning board,
Yes.
and that 1,000 is our monthly payment.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it was just 1,000. But yeah. It should have been more.
All right.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we paid the attorney's monthly fee on the last warrant. So if there's an additional 1,000, you guys are gonna want to find out what it is.
Yeah, it's planning board, it's not, it's
No.
right?
$1,000 planning board, $4,000 is a $4,000 bill, planning board. 4,374.50, that's for a permit, says Jones permit. Then you got Shaw complaint, another bill for that.
Yeah.
And then it says scope, maybe that's for the Shaw.
January scope of services, monthly retainer for the month of January 2026 is set forth in the engagement letter, $1,000. And then we have the Lauren Shaw Revocable Trust, 44 out of the planning board, and I think this one here.
So if you folks, if anybody was able to look back at the last warrant, Bernstein Sure's monthly fee of $12.50 or whatever the agreement was on that last warrant.
That $1,000 is just, is that an annual retainer?
It says January.
Yeah, the annual retainer is what it is.
Monthly retainer for the month of January.
Okay, so a monthly retainer and the amount that you paid. Give me just a minute and don't get to the end of this because I'm going to go back to the last meeting and I'm going to look at that warrant. Because I just recently looked at it and Bernstein Sure was on there on the last warrant for the agreed upon amount to keep it under 15,000. So keep doing what you're doing, but just don't go too quickly because I'll look at it if nobody else there can do it quick.
Anthony's got his hand up too.
Go ahead, Anthony.
You folks were speaking about the planning board, just as a reminder, if there's any litigation involved, that's not part of your fixed fee contract.
Right.
It's billed out separately. Do you wanna go ahead with 158 while we're waiting?
Sure. Yeah, I guess. All right, so warrant 158. AP for $6,193.02.
Move to approve. Second.
Well, on the AP warrant, then before, it doesn't list it on mine, other than AP warrant. Usually it's tells me what the cost is. Hold on. It's a full.
58.
Oh, no, actually, I found it in mine.
I bet it's-
It carries over from more.
Oh, yep.
It carries over onto this next page for.
So 158, that's a 2025 warrant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, and we're gonna have to. Yes. I see the bill from American Loggers.
I don't have that warrant in here.
Okay.
I can make a note, scan it, and I'll email that
I'd
over
like
to
to
you.
see it, cause I'd like to
American
see-
Lockers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to know if they $780 is
Okay,
just listed on the kitchen inspection.
okay,
And it shouldn't be, unless they tested the cylinder or something else, which should be.
okay. I'll scan and email
Okay.
to.
So do we want to approve this or not? Approve it pending.
Yeah, if they build it, we're gonna end up having to pay it at this point, because we don't have a contract with them. So it's a fixed cost, but I want to see what it is, because again, I think it's time. This goes out to other people from
Right.
cost comparison to, because their prices are.
Well, Corey had that other gentleman contact us that he worked at the jail with. So I think he was going to speak with them.
Yeah, well, I believe I have you guys reach out to fire safe equipment at Auburn also.
Okay.
Melanie's got her hand up, you guys.
Melanie,
Melanie?
Okay, hang tight. So I'm on the last week's warrant, or last meeting's warrant. Warrant number 13. We paid Bernstein Sure for their scope of services agreement or engagement, $1,245.
Does it say when it's for?
Nope, it just says scope/serve engagement. So that wasn't the agreed upon price in December, so that was not December's pricing. That was January's pricing. So if we're now paying an additional $1,000 on this warrant, I would be holding back that 1,000 until we have an explanation of what the additional scope of services is that you're paying for, because it's not the monthly.
Yeah, it does say monthly retainer.
Could it be for February? And just a misprint?
That's not right, it wouldn't be the same amount as January.
The bill is dated February 5.
So I guess I would want to, sorry to interrupt, but I guess I would want to make sure with Bernstein Sure that we're not paying $1,000 and then an additional $1,245. Because then that exceeds $15,000. And then irregardless of what you folks do with a finance policy, the policy that's in place now says anything over 15,000 has to go out to RFP.
So I've got an invoice date, January 9, scope of services 1245, and I've got an invoice February 5, scope of services $1,001.
And they making.
So one is January, it looks like one is January, one is February.
But isn't staying consistent.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. That's what it says on here.
I just hate seeing a bill for first warrant March saying February retainer and nobody's catching it.
Yeah, I'd hold the 1,000 and let me ask Phil about it. He's off this week, but he'll be back.
Alright. Okay, well, let's finish up 158 that we had started on.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions on the report ones around that one?
No.
Alright, all those in favor of that one? 440, yes. And it'll go back. So one, number 19. I don't think a motion to what, remove that one line item.
Yeah, so it's already been moved and seconded, so. Should I amend my
Yep.
motion to remove the amount under Bernstein Sure for $1,000?
$1,001.
Just says
It says
1,000.
1,000.
Yes, it's 1,000 on this paperwork.
Says $1,001 on here.
On our form that says 1,000.
February 5, invoice number 4103040, total $1,001.
Yeah, it's not on the
It
warrant.
says 1,000.
We'll remove it anyway. But remove the 1,000.
1,001, take your pick.
Okay.
Pending discussion with Berkshire.
Second.
Second.
They did second.
Okay, got it.
So all those in favor? Four. Okay, warrant number 20. Another AP warrant, $3,630.56.
Second.
The discussion, all those in favor? Four. Some, one absent. And warrant 21. So there's another payroll warrant, another week bring. $23,904.42.
Move to approve.
Second.
You have any questions on that one? No, all in favor? Four, absent.
Melanie's gonna hand up again.
Oh, Melanie.
Hi, not to be a pest, but Barbara's motion on the Bernstein Shore and the warrant was that it be pending a conversation with Phil. But I think because the question was brought up in public, that the $1,000 should be held until the next meeting. And then regardless of what the explanation is from Phil, but it should be explained. So it shouldn't just be pending a conversation with Phil. It should be the $1,000 is held. And if we in fact owe the 1,000, then that comes up at the next meeting.
Thank you, Melanie.
Reword it. Those things.
So.
Make a motion just to rescind yours.
I rescinded my earlier motion, and make a motion that we approve warrant.
It was 19.
Warrant 19, withholding the $1,000 invoice from Bernstein Shore to be approved at the next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor? Four, one pass.
Attended Kentucky Valley Council of Governments Board meeting February 17, health department head meeting February 6, along with safety committee meeting, which is one of those requirements with our MMA risk management insurance. The fire department building committee met with USDA representative Eric Kraus to go over the CDS grant process, paperwork needed, etc. on Tuesday, February 10. Members of the committee met again Friday, February 13, to go over items and to review proposals for financing the 2.1 million approved at special town meeting in May 2025. So the committee could make a recommendation to the select board. With approval of a 6-month budget, which takes us through June 30, we have been hard at work meeting with department heads and putting together the 12-month draft budget for July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2027. The budget committee will meet briefly February 25 to choose a chair and vice chair and to review committee bylaws prior to the 28th. Both the committee and select board will meet with department heads on the 28th. Kennebec County All Hazards Risk Assessment. Our team consists of myself, Dan McKenzie, Jeremy Dameron, Travis Burton, Daniel Bedard, Corey Alexander, and Jason Stevens. Team members have been signing up for all hazards risk assessment workshops, which are running February 23, March 2, and March 9. The annual candidate forum will take place on May 11 at 6 p.m. Once again, Regina Coppins has volunteered to put this together. Additional details will be announced as they become available. The town of Belgrade is conducting a search for the next eligible recipient to receive the Boston Post cane. Nomination forms and criteria are available at the town office or on the town website. Nominations are due March 2, 2026. The gift of land, Manchester Road and Knowles Road on Belgrade Stream has been completed as of February 17th. The Center for All Seasons roof has been cleared after the bulk of snow slid during some warmer temperatures a few days ago. Roads will be posted Monday, February 23 per our road commissioner, Jason Stevens.
While you're mentioning roads, Jason needs to go around and start fixing shoulders. Our Wings Mills Road the shoulders are so bad, it's breaking the hot top up. Nose Road, shoulders are breaking, shoulders so bad, roads are breaking up. It's just because the shoulders. Wings Mills Road, something, I brought this up from day one from being paved. Something needs to be done at the 135 end. The road's too narrow, but the road shifted too much to the right, so you got two big rocks by the stop sign. So when the plow contractor plows, he can't push the snow because there's 4 or 5 big rocks there that the landowner put there 25, 30 years ago. So now when they repaved the Wings Mills Road, they shrunk it by 4 feet compared to what it used to be. And so now when you pull on Wings Mills Road, of course, we get a lot of big heavy truck traffic on that road. And you're coming on, that vehicle has to get into the shoulder. So now that shoulder is like, I mean, it's got potholes like that in it. So I think this summer, maybe you need to pave at least 30 feet from 135 in, 30 feet or so, probably add a couple, 3 feet to that end of the Wings Mills Road, because that or move it, I'm pretty sure them rocks that are on the town right away, or move them rocks so the plow contractor can plow the snow.
I'm big with that.
Yeah, okay, he was just in today. I'll ask him to take him.
Yeah, Nose Road's getting pretty bad too.
Yeah, Knowles and Wing Smells, she said, okay, I'll ask him, yeah. Have him look at them.
Lorna, who put together the all hazards risk assessment committee?
Kennebec EMA.
Oh, they picked you guys? They
Yeah.
picked the people?
They didn't, they just sent it to us.
Okay.
Said you're it.
So
I'm like, they picked all our full-time people.
I guess I was gonna ask that question too, because
Dan signed up for a couple of the classes, I've signed up for one, Travis signed up, I think for 3, Jason's gonna sign up for a couple. So we're each trying to do 1 or 2 so that we've got representation.
so you guys, not all you guys are gonna have to be, I guess I misunderstood it when last time.
I think so.
I think I was
You had to
thinking
go
like you
out.
too.
Yeah,
Like, how?
and I think Carol had that same thought.
I said,
No,
who's gonna, I have duty.
told
Right.
If we could have half of us, at each meeting, that would be good.
Okay,
Okay,
So,
thank you.
they haven't said that.
we've all been worried about that, so.
They haven't said every single one of us have to be at every meeting, so.
As long as you can just send half of yourself, then half of yourself could be that here.
So,
Okay,
Great. Do you have anything else?
we ready for a motion? I move we adjourn at 8:31.
Second.
All those in favor?